Good morning, everybody. Let's call this meeting to order. Hey! There we go. Love the energy. Love the energy. Hey, it's 10:03. Let's be respectful of everybody's time. We got a lot to go through today. Brent will be joining us here in just a little bit. But like we like to do every Thursday, let's kick it off with Tell Me Something Good. What do you have something good? I know.
Oh, geez.
There you go.
Spotlight.
I know. Thank you for sitting next to me.
Well, yesterday I handed over keys to some very wonderful clients of mine, and I am leaving for Cabo next week, and I really need the vacation. Yeah! And I brought a big bag of plums from my tree. It's like, I have way too many, so take as many as you want, please.
So you online, you got to come in person and get the plums and the donuts and the donuts. All right, you're next.
Oh, I'm next?
Yeah.
Oh man, you set me up for that one.
I did.
I have a deal closing tomorrow, and then I have 3 listings coming on in June.
Boom. Where are the 3 listings coming from?
Let's see. The first one was actually I put a flyer on their door. I sold a couple houses in that neighborhood. Put a flyer on their door, and she held it for a couple months. And then she contacted me a couple weeks ago and said she had my flyer. And then the other 2 are past clients.
Okay, perfect. Fair. All right, round of applause. Barry, did you have something you want to say?
Hey, just a quick thing for one of my agents. Her name is Marina. If you guys know her, she speaks 5 Slavic languages. So if you ever need help with that, Marina had a baby this week.
Wow.
And this morning we just went on a listing appointment. So 4 days after giving birth, she's out of the hospital and out on a listing appointment. If you think you're going to outwork somebody like that, you better put your game on.
Exactly. Hey, anybody online want have anything they want to share? If not, we'll. Hermes, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I have an open house showing this Saturday at 1 to 5 at 1914 McLaren Drive in Roseville, California, 95661. The listing agent is Robert Bissell for New Horizons Realty, and I'm planning to host the open house.
Awesome, man. Good news. Good news. All right, so I don't see any lenders in the room. Man. Oh, we got a lender. All right, give us a lender update. Stand up, tell us who you are, and what's happening in the wonderful world of loans.
Yeah, so it's fun each day. It's a new surprise. No, I'm kidding. No, it's flowing pretty steadily. And I'm Andrew. I'm with Academy Mortgage.
Okay.
I'm actually here today to talk about an event we're doing this evening, which I'm sure we'll get to later. And yeah, that's all I have for today.
How about interest rate? Sorry, Grace. No, I need to make.
Oh, sí.
Yeah, so
Okay, ya sé a dónde estamos.
they kind of bounce up and down each day.
Sí, se puede ir, si no quiere ir al freeway, puede ir por acá.
Hang on.
Sí. Sí.
Mute all button down.
Okay, yo te digo.
I clicked it.
There we go.
Hey!
Money has the power.
Go ahead, repeat that.
Yeah, please repeat.
Yeah, so interest rates, I mean, we kind of see it go ping pong each day. We get a little better, get a little worse. Today they came out pretty steady out the gates, but we're still in the high 5s, low 6s.
High 5s, low 6s. Guys, just so we're clear, like high 5s, low 6s, that's crazy, talking a year ago, but in the life of like last 30 or 40 years, that's incredible. That's incredible. So make sure you control the narrative. I think Brent's going to talk about that later, but the number one thing you should be doing in your real estate business right now is controlling the narrative with your clients. All right. Well, Barry, did you have an event you want to talk about then? It sounds like there's an event.
Oh, we have an event on the 22nd or the 22nd of this month at Trax, downtown Roseville. And it's just to come out, have a beer, hang out with some real estate agents.
Aquí se puede si quieres, pero si no, sigue. Okay.
And so, yeah, come on out if you want.
Hey everyone, we have a win. Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi, Andrea.
Well, it's Lucy and Aaron, and we're in Southern California, but we wanted to say that we are an official EXP branch in Whittier, California.
Woo! Congratulations. Awesome. Well, welcome to the family.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I saw the other lender walk into the room. Rodney, mind standing up, telling us what's happening in the wonderful world of loans.
The wonderful world of loans is bouncing around. It actually last week it was mainly on the downside. It's starting to pop up a little bit more. The market's still strong. It's softened up a little bit as affordability comes into play a little bit. But there's a ton of programs out there, and I would like to put a presentation together on how to use it, because it's really an educational use system with MLS. That I did a search, and do your own search as well, on MLS, our local MLS. I did all the county of Sacramento, all the county of Placer, to see which properties pop up, rather than doing a price reduction. Many of you, I'm sure, follow Ryan Lundquist, and he had a presentation. He saw my comments. Yeah, I jump on there. And his first thing is like, hey, I think the market's softening. Everyone should just drop their price, kind of response. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a second. We don't want to start, there's a fire in the movie theater scenario, right? And you don't need to do that. That's not the only way you're going to sell houses. It's affordability, right? And the lending programs that are there and how to use them, which are all there, and there's more coming all the time, is going to make the difference. And so what I would recommend that you do, and I'm working with MetroList right now, actually, and they have a meeting coming up on Tuesday, so I'm hoping we'll get some good traction quickly, is there are 3 options in MLS currently that nobody's using right now on your listings. So as a listing agent, you want to do this, and as a buyer's agent, you should be searching for this. And the 3 items are terms, which is on the second page of the MLS. You have to hit the tab at the top and go to the second page. A lot of people don't even know that exists, but you can go in there and search for some more. On the first page towards the bottom, so terms is on the second page. You click on terms, and there's several selections in there. And it's really talking about, do you do financing? Do you do what type of finance? Conventional, FHA, all that kind of stuff. But there's 2 items in there that I would recommend that you select if you're a listing agent. One of them is interest buy down. The other is seller will pay points. Those 2 items will, in my opinion, should be used right now in this marketplace to be able to make the property more affordable, because everyone is looking for that certain price point. On this is a confusing point, and I'm going to try and get some clarity with MetroList, is on the bottom of the first page, it says buyer financing. And when you click on it, it's the identical selections that are on the second page under terms. And I don't understand why or what the difference is. And then at the top of the first page, there's special financing or special conditions. I think maybe we can I'm going to try and see if I can help out a little bit for the greater good of the marketplace, to see if that's something there, because those items you can make your buyers that are qualified, right, and able to buy, but are starting to get cold feet because they're hearing the shift word, right, and they're concerned there's a bubble, and then I don't want to be the fool that got caught kind of scenario. And I have another portion that I could go into on why this is really, literally right now, the best time to buy. And it's based off inflation. And so when you actually look at the interest rates and you look at the inflation that's going on, and you subtract the 2 and you see what the real interest rate is, and you got appreciation on the housing, there's no doubt it's a no-brainer. You want to buy now if you can afford to do it, and it's affordability, which goes back to the financing, which goes back to taking advantage of those 2 options or in MLS. And the result, when I searched all of Placer County and all of Sacramento County, how many listings came up? Who thinks they know, or did I already give the answer away?
You did not. I have no idea.
0. You guys can stand out right now and be the heroes, because you do that, and if people start searching, who are they going to reach? You, right? So put your listing on with that, and you're going to get at the top of the list for, because when you take that buy down scenario, and they're all going to be separate, you're going to save your buyer. You can do a temporary buy down, right? Or you can do a permanent buy down. Everyone typically does a permanent buy down. They just, you take your, money and you buy down the interest rate, and that's for the life of the loan. If you do the temporary buy down, and and I'll give a quick thing and I'll be done here, sorry.
No, it's good.
The short version is you take, you buy down the interest rate, and you're going to save somebody probably $100 a month, maybe $60 a month, depends on the interest rate, depends on the loan, right? Average scenario. If you lower the purchase price, you're going to save, for every $10,000, you're going to save the borrower about $60 a month. But if you put that $10,000 towards the permanent buy down, you'll get the $100 a month, right? So you're going to get a little bit more. But if you put it towards a temporary buy down, you might save these guys, and I'm not joking, $300, $400, $500 a month. Would that get them off the fence?
100%.
They're already qualified, they're just a little nervous. And then you have, you have that temporary buy down for, 2-3 years or whatever, there's different links you can do. And then just counsel them, hey, will you make more money? Prices are going up, right? You're gonna get, because the payment's gonna stick, but your income goes up, it's more affordable and you're more relaxed and pay off bills. So that's kind of what's going on in the marketplace right now.
Thank you,
temporary
Ron.
buy down saves you more than the permanent buy down.
Exactly, because really what it is, it's all prepaid interest. A buy down is just prepaid interest. Are you gonna take that prepaid interest and spread it out over a 30-year term? Or are you gonna consolidate it and just put it into a short period? Right, so if you consolidate it, it's right off of the
Do you
interest.
decide how temporary that is, or is
Yes.
it already set by the lender? Like it's only 5 years, 3 years?
Right, you have an option, yeah, it's not, you can't just, you gotta do it before the loan closes, right? Kind of scenario, get that set up, but those are some powerful things to get buyers into contract today and take advantage of. And rather than hitting, and spread the word to the other agents too, rather than hitting that price reduce button, do the interest buy down button, because it holds the market stable. Ryan's Lundquist, back to where I started earlier, had made a post a couple days ago that said there's 1,300 homes on the market roughly, and 1,000 of them reduced price last week. Yeah, does that sound like panic in the room?
Yep.
Don't let that happen. Keep the prices stable and do the market, reduction on interest rate. Because there's no reason, there's affordability. We still have a strong seller's market, and before it goes from sellers, it's gonna go neutral, and then buyers, right? We don't need to fire panic it all the way across. Yes?
What about a market research and compare and contrast the subject property to the surrounding properties? For example, you got a house that was recently reduced in price, but the neighboring houses that are to compare now, they haven't reduced the price. What's your opinion on that?
Well, obviously everything needs to be appropriately priced because it has to appraise at the end of the day, right? With a normal down payment. If they're overbidding and they're putting way more money down, it doesn't matter as much. But what I'm talking about is a normal price property in a normal market. If it's overpriced, then it's overpriced, and it just needs to be adjusted and priced appropriately. And sometimes that happens, right? Because they're just, you got a difficult seller, and they just, want it. They know the market's gone down, but not in my house, right? And so you want that listing, that'll get them, in line at some point, and so you take it, and then you got to adjust it. Those are legit adjustments, but most of the properties, there's no way 1,000 homes last week were overpriced. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Another good point about what Ronnie's talking about with offering the buy down is oftentimes sellers are afraid, hey, if we reduce the price, and they're going to come even lower than that, right? So they're protecting their price, or there might be some pride involved. My neighbor's house sold for this much, I want to get that amount, right? And then when you see the price reduction on Zillow and Realtor.com and all this, like there's a little bit of pride, there's some ego there, and they can forego that pride hit by doing what Rodney's suggesting. So just some added reasons to do it. All right, hey,
one quick thing.
Yeah, sure, one more thing.
And I got some tools if you need some help, some quick, easy tools. Like buyers want to know, what do I qualify for this payment? Then I can give them, I can give you a little matrix so you can see what price range that is and go the other way as well. So if you need to reach me, getmoneyforyou.com or rrose@emortgagecapital.com.
And I'd like to say one thing about Rodney. He's been doing this over 30 years. He's an absolute pro. If you're not like having coffee or lunch with him once a quarter or something, or really tied into him, he will teach you things you don't know about your craft. You want to survive and thrive and do well, become an expert in all this stuff. Hang out with champions. He's a champion. You're like, well, I don't really know him. Get to know him. That's how you go to the next level. I believe in you. I love you. I respect you.
It's mutual. Thank you. Yeah.
Right.
And in that regard, the market, there's been 10 years of nothing but rates going down. If you're new in the business, and 10 years doesn't really sound like new in the business, you haven't seen the cycles of decades that I've learned. Yeah, a lot of products that have been around, they're just not being used, and that's all the key of getting things closed.
Rodney, what was it like in 1935?
Did you finance Noah's Ark? Hey, what is your contact information for people that want to know?
Yeah, my cell phone is 916-223-2775. That's, you text me, call me anytime, or getmoneyforyou.com, and my email is rrose@emortgagecapital.com.
Can you write your phone number up on the board there? at the top, nice
Sure.
and clear. Thanks, okay, go ahead there, John, next.
All right, yeah, so we got some upcoming events. Share the screen. Become a luxury listing specialist. It's happening July 21st at Granite Bay Country Club. So this event is going to be free. We're going to have Brent, anything you want to add to it?
We have our speaker, but we're just confirming one small detail. So we will announce the speaker next Thursday, but I am pumped. You guys are gonna freak out. All your guests from other brokerages that come, of course, all of our events are broker agnostic. We love everybody. And if they go back to Alliance or Realty One or wherever they go, that's awesome. They got families. We want them to do well. Of course, we'd love for them to join us, but bring people there. It's gonna be a heck of a morning, 10 to noon, and we'll announce the speaker next Thursday.
Next Thursday, beautiful. And then we also have, by the way, our mixer was just named again Best of the Best in Roseville, so that's exciting. That's my time. And it's taking place June 30th, 5 to 8 down at Crawdad. So if you want to see what the Best of the Best is about, swing on by. It's going to be a good time. Lenders, vendors, business owners. There's been a couple people in the room that have gone to this. That's where I met Ryan. Yeah, Ryan, what did you think about the mixer when you went?
They're great. Good source of networking, and everybody there was really nice and helpful and good resource, for sure.
Fantastic. All right. Well, hey, that's all we had for the events. Now to our sponsors for today.
Take over your real quick. Okay, first of all, I brought donuts. Please eat the donuts. I don't want to take them back. And there's wonderful.
Eat the donuts you don't eat.
Eat the donuts. And then also I have some swag, finally, some little summer goodies for you on the table if you want to grab some of that stuff too.
And what's your name?
And my name is Jen Finley with North American Home Services, and I brought Justin here, who's our manager at the termite division.
Thank you for having us out today.
Absolutely.
Awesome energy, great information just as well. So we love to listen and learn as we sit in on these too. So what do we have here, Jen?
We are going to the good, the bad, and the misinformed. We're going to talk about why there are multiple reports. So you have the seller got the report, inspection report, the buyer now comes in and wants their own inspections, and why are they so different? Why is the report, there's so many different findings, what the heck, Justin?
Well, we're all human, but we're still all licensed by the state of California to identify those areas of dry rot and actually list them in a report. So not only the condition, but the actual cause of it as well too. So does that make sense? Like when you're a licensed termite inspector, you're not only just looking for the dry rot or the termites or the things that could potentially cause it, like plumbing leaks. You have to fix those conditions as well too. So if it's a roof leak, a gutter leak, a plumbing leak that has caused damage to a shelf or anything down below, we've got to call that out and actually have to go the extra mile to correct that condition. That's kind of where we get into it with contractors and stuff like that, where they feel like we're going too far as a termite company, and I won't go too far down the road, but General B contractor's license, they don't have to correct the condition. They only have to come in and fix what they were hired to fix, if that makes sense, right? Where a termite company, we actually have to physically list those items, correct it, and then once we certify it, we've certified that it's been corrected, it's not going to happen again. So we've got here the quality inspections, and being thorough, being honest, and being accurate about the inspection. It's always good to team up with somebody, be it North American Home Services.
Sí, es un parque, están jugando.
You want to make sure that we're doing a walkthrough with your customer. We're there with them, and they understand what we're calling out. When we get into other companies, a lot of times it could be a younger inspector where they may not see it the same way, they may not have the seniority, or they may not have the experience of it, right? And we've got a lot of reports conflicting, and that puts you all in a very difficult place. Either you're a seller's agent or a buyer's agent, right? So we go to the next slide. This is what I was talking about, the legal portion of it, where we are licensed by the state of California. And just because we're short on time, I'll kind of get through it. This is the same home, which you wouldn't think. There's inspection A for the sellers, which was, I think, a measly $3,000 of repairs. The buyers brought their inspector in, $4,000. Buyers brought their inspector in, $64,000. And then we kind of got brought in as necessarily a tiebreaker, but more like a competitive bid, okay? So we took the time to go through it with both the seller and the buyer and gave them real expectations, right? So the entire deck, this is a lot of deck work. It didn't need to be completely replaced. There could be a lot of repairs done to it. This was a difficult scenario to go through, but we wanted to meet with both the seller and the buyer out there and let them know exactly what we were seeing and come to a resolution or a solution for it, okay? It was a big thing. And we offer this all the time because there's always different reports where it's conflicting reports. I or my team, we always offer to come meet the other termite company out there, be it their manager or the inspector. That way we can kind of get to the bottom of it, okay? Go ahead.
What was the difference between the price, obviously, other than the numbers? Was there missing items on one, or was just cost differences?
If you want to go back one slide back, you'll see they didn't call out portions of it. So one of them they didn't call out to rebuild or do anything. So there's a lot of missed items on the first one, which if you had a buyer, this puts them in a really bad position because the seller offers this inspection up and it's only $4,000 worth of work, and they go to start doing the repairs at $4,000 and all of a sudden it's $60,000 more. It's pretty ridiculous, and the first call they're going to make is going to be you guys. They're going to say, you put me in this position, per se, right? And it's going to go downhill from there.
So does anybody ever come after the license of that first company? Because obviously they were
Absolutely.
negligent.
Yep, absolutely. So they're negligent. In the state of California, you can go ahead and do that. You've got to go through the process with the Structural Pest Control Board. What happens is they get involved. It takes a couple months to take care of it, and it would be them coming back out and potentially being able to do the repairs at their cost. So you could sue them for it out of that. But if you dealt with the state of California, they always give the termite company the option to come back to correct it, if that makes sense. Whatever that may look like, and you can imagine if you brought them back out to rub their nose in it, they're not going to do the best work and be the happiest folks about it, but they would be held to a standard.
Give people a chance to make it right. Isn't that what we want people to do for us, or we want them to call the DRE on us? Let's take the high road. When I first started in real estate 27 years ago, they forgot the eaves on the south side of the house. They just flat missed on that little tiny part of the house that nobody walks down, they're really narrow. And the guy just forgot it, and it was back then. Talking 2,700 years ago, 100 years ago. It was a lot of money back then. My whole commission was like $2,800, and the eaves were $3,500. But we called them, they're like, no way. They came out like, we missed this. They fixed it at no cost. They didn't even charge us their cost. And they repaired all the eaves. They go, wow, this is unacceptable. It's not who we are. And they just made it right. Give people a chance to make it right. Then if they're not right, then you can go
through the process. No, that's a perfect example. We try to stand up and do the right things. We want to be in business for a lot longer than that. That one job or that one commission sale isn't going to be the one that keeps you going. These are just some photos of the deck. Clearly one of the decks completely needs to be replaced. The other deck actually had composite decking on there that could be reused. So that's where some of the value engineering came into place, where we can save some cost and not rebuild an entire deck. We were really trying to work to keep this deal together for all parties, because of course the seller was standing firm on their $4,000 and the buyer was on the other end of the spectrum. So that was a tough one. Jen, you want to touch in on this one?
Well, I just want to say communication is a key. What are the expectations of your client? Do they really want the deck? Do they care about the deck? Like, you just have to have that communication, and our inspectors can guide you and your clients through that.
The sellers, the agents, and the buyers, right? What do everybody want? So that's what she's touching on, and what their expectations are. Sometimes we can cater to some of those items where maybe they've got a bathroom that's got damage to it, and we call it out that it needs a complete replacement or new tub, new shower walls. But the buyer plans on tearing that bathroom out. So maybe we can negotiate or work with them on a cost to do that, and they want to upgrade it, right? But it's the real cost is only X amount of dollars. Right. So communication with the inspectors in the report and on site is always key. So this always helps. It's not always that simple, but a lot of times it is. So, and this is kind of that communication. So I'm sure you've all seen spliced wood, Z-bar siding, and full sheets of siding. Again, it's expectations of what they actually want to see or what they need. If they just need a clearance on a pest inspection or the repairs done, a lot of times splicing and Z-bar is going to be the way to go. Other times They plan on living in this house for years. They have an expectation of all full goods. They want it to look as if it was when they looked at the home when they walked in. So that's where we can kind of pander through different costs and repairs. So that's how we can help on our side.
So do you have those conversations up front before the repairs?
We do have conversations up front, but a lot of times it happens after the fact when it actually gets down to the money portion of it. Because everybody says, yes, I want $1 million repairs. My budget's not $1 million budget.
But that's good, because then when you're doing the final walkthrough, they're not saying, hey, I thought, you know.
No, and that happens a lot. So we've got different ways to go about it. We write a recommendation. So the finding will be the same. There's dry rot on the home, remove and replace the siding. Primary recommendation, maybe full goods, full material, paint the material when you get finished. Secondary recommendation, splice, use less material necessarily, and it's not going to look identical to what it did before. It'll still look good. So as long as they have an expectation of what it is, we've got a lot of photos and stuff. We can kind of walk them through and talk to them about that as well. Decks are a big one because the whole entire deck may not be damaged, but it takes a lot of time and effort to go through and pick and choose what pieces, and then it looks, looks like it's been kind of spotty repaired, so it needs painting afterwards. Same thing with the siding. So that's how we get away with making the repairs look presentable still, but saving costs.
Got it.
So we want to know the difference.
We kind of ran through a couple of these things. So we've got a termite company, we've got a contractor, and then we've got your handyman, right? So licensed and bonded, we're licensed by the state of California, we're bonded and insured, so is a general contractor just as well. When you come to a handyman, that's where you kind of get into a gamble of homeowners insurance and who's insured and who's liable if anything happens on the property. So that's a really big gamble. They're allowed to do, I think it got jumped up, I think we have $500 on here. I think they're actually allowed to do like $800, okay? So they moved it up a little bit, but that's every job. So per house. So there's not a lot you can get done for that amount of money and still be legal on it. I talked about it and I touched on it earlier, the identification of all accessible areas. So you've all probably seen a supplemental report where we opened up some findings and found additional damage in the wall. When we do an inspection, we're not allowed to deface or remove siding, remove things to see inside the wall. So a lot of times what happens is we find additional damage. We have to fix that. That's what I talked about earlier. No one wants to do that. It's a big pain in the butt.
I just this just hits home right now because I was in contract with buyers for 70 days and we just finally pulled out because the whole deck needed to be repaired, and we waited right when we got in contract 2 weeks for a new licensed contractor, and come to find out like a couple days before closing, they only used a licensed contractor to do the support beams, and they had a local handyman come and do this entire work. It was, went back there, took all those pictures, and this thing's like 30 feet up on the ground. It's like 3 stories, and all the railings are flimsy. He spliced he didn't put it under any support beams. It was just a huge hazard and a nightmare. So we walked because it was.
And you were in it 70 days?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh
And it's been the biggest headache of my life, and now we're starting the whole process over again.
That's where you're going to Cabo, right?
That's a vacation, yeah.
That's why I need the vacation.
Oh, yeah, vacation, yes. Well, that is a big
so
thing.
sad.
I mean, choosing cost is a thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of get what you pay for. That is old, but there's a lot of stuff to that. You've got to protect yourself and protect your clients. And who's ever doing the work, be it a licensed termite company or a licensed contractor, we're licensed by the state of California to perform repairs. We also have a General B license to do construction work as well. So that's a big thing. I'm always worried about handymen. I always say Craigslist if right gets a bad rap. But they typically aren't going to pick up their phone when there's a problem after the fact. And you gotta partner with somebody that's going to be there in your team.
How do you guys handle questions about high-tech plumbing and Census panels and things like that?
Well, what we want to do is we don't want to, on the home inspection side, right? So we don't want to blow it out of proportion. The high-tech, I think that lawsuits completely dissolved. There's no money left in it now. So you're kind of at the point where you have it, keep an eye on it, and plan on maybe replacing it down the road. The same thing with the Census panel. You used to not be able to get breakers for it. You can get breakers and stuff for it now that you can replace them. So it may not need to be rewired or a whole new box put in. So with anything, the idea, be it a seller or buyer, it's not to engorge too much and make it feel like it's the worst thing in the world, but everything's fixable and doable, right? It's up to their.
Is it kind of because of like liability for, I haven't had a problem with you guys ever, but I've had problems with some of the inspectors where they come in and that is like highlighted in red, this is dangerous, they have been known to blow off the wall and the Kitech plumbing goes bad and so that was my question, but it's that you guys have to walk a fine line on that.
It really is. We want to make sure that we're really identifying it, right? Because that would be a big issue if we weren't identifying it. And it's more about education. If you go online and you start typing that in, you're going to see the worst of the worst. But you have to imagine the box has been there for X amount of years. It's still being used. And then with the Kitech, unfortunately, it dissolves from the inside out at the fittings. So it is a matter of when, but you've got different things you can do to prevent it from happening. You can turn down the water pressure. You can start planning on doing different repairs to it or replacing it. So it's a good thing to know and be upfront about for sure.
Awesome.
Great question.
Quick question. I noticed you guys do a complimentary termite inspection for VA home buyers. Do you offer the same thing for VA sellers? Because I have a listing coming up. He's a veteran, and we're going to be ordering inspections.
So yes, but the free termite inspections with a home inspection, if it's just going to be a termite inspection.
No, we're going to do everything.
Good. I was going to say if it's just a termite inspection, it's $75.
Okay.
But yeah, for sellers just as well.
Okay.
So just to be clear, if you're doing the home inspection and the termite inspection, it's free for veterans.
Yep, the termite's free for veterans.
Got it.
Just on the Kitech plumbing topic, I haven't run into it, but I've heard all the ghost stories. So my question, and I don't know if maybe this is out of your league, but it seems like Kitech is just a time bomb waiting to happen. So it needs to be remediated. So if it's there but it hasn't blown up yet, is your advice ask for the world or ask for a huge credit because it's coming?
It wouldn't hurt to be in front of it and ask for it, that it may be coming or may not. They've gotten a lot more advanced about replacing it, so they're able to drag some of the newer line through there, so they're not destroying all the sheetrock and drywall throughout the home, because the finish work is a real problem with the Kitech, not only it leaking and causing major damage. So yeah, it's always good to get a good plumber in there to talk about it and get ahead of it. And pricing, you only got one time to ask for pricing.
Right. So the big question is, you guys can see it, but you guys don't remediate it. You don't repair it.
Correct.
Any idea on what if I have a listing or a buyer and I've got a house with Kitech plumbing? Oh my God, is it $1,000, $10,000?
It could be $5,000 or more for a single story, and then if you get to a 2-story, it could be double that. And then depending on where the plumbing is as well too, a raised foundation, a slab foundation, if it has an island sink, so now you have to go underneath the concrete. There's different things. So there's different guys that specialize in it. But again, they're able to start dragging like some of the new PEX. They're thinner. They're able to drag it through some of those lines, which just like they do with drain pipes and stuff as well. Yep.
Thank you.
I think I may be wrong, but I think I heard the Home Warranty of America, you can buy the home warranty for seller, and if you have the inspections done on the plumbing and show them, and if something were to happen during the listing period, they cover it. And then also for buyers, obviously the home warranty.
You said cover it during the listing period?
During the listing period, if it happens while you were on the market,
Right.
so
Got
if, like, yeah, they'll come in.
Yeah, Cindy Silva spoke about that.
Correct, it's like $1 a day.
Yeah, which company is it again?
Home Warranty of America, Sherry Jones.
Okay, I want to give a testimony to you guys, okay? Especially if you're a seller, okay? I've used them twice for a competitive bid. Don't miss that opportunity, because on both occasions, they saved thousands of dollars. They caught things that the first pest inspector did not catch, even at a more expensive rate. In fact, Brent, it's one of the homes that I purchased from you, okay? It was your listing, but here's the deal. They caught extra stuff, and they did have a supplemental, so that supplemental saved any future problems or liabilities down the road. And I met the buyers there, and you guys painted the trim. There was a new railing, you painted all that, 10 times better than what it was. So don't miss the opportunity to check with these guys. Hey, will you give me a competitive bid? Not only will you get the expertise, but you get the quality involved, and plus, they'll cover your back if there's any supplementals. So,
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm gonna
painting's included.
Painting's included, and just on that, we do complimentary committed a bid. So if there's a report on the house, you want us to come out, we will come out at no charge, full inspection, and be able to save you money too.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Thank you.
Hey, we had a question online asking, how do you tell if the house has Kitech if the seller doesn't know? Can you identify that, or?
Yep, so typically it's gonna be exposed in the attic. Sometimes it's covered by insulation. Our guys make sure if it's in the housing tract or in that age group of homes being built, they've gotta look in there and identify what type of plumbing it is. Sometimes it's different colors. The majority of the color is an orange, but it could be different colors, and you've actually gotta physically clean off the piping and read it.
Okay. So just because you see orange doesn't mean it's Kitech?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, so they've gotta take a photo of it, they'll put it in there and identify what it is.
Got it.
Do you want to touch base really quick on this? Or we'll...
I'm pretty sure you all know about the section 1, section 2 portion of the inspection, but I'll touch bases on it in the section 3. Section 1 is going to be termites, dry rot, or fungus, so something that needs to be repaired, treated, or replaced. Section 2 is stuff that can lead to it. That's why we're always calling out loose toilets, plumbing leaks, cracked grout, and wet areas. So if those things are left untouched for a long time, you can have a bathroom floor replacement, you can have a sink shelf, cabinet replacement, etc. Further inspection is little as a garage full of storage, because they're getting the house prepped and everybody moves everything into the garage. We can't see every square inch of it, so we've got to call that, up to we've got a water stain on a wall below a bathroom or a ceiling, and we may think there may be some damage there, or we can't get into a substructure. So section 3, you might as well think of the further inspections almost like a section 1, because they've got to be done to get into those visible and accessible areas to make sure there's no hidden infestation or damage. Okay, so unfortunately we call those out and we try to walk you through and talk to you about that if we weren't able to get underneath a home, or if we see stains and we think there may be damage or some kind of hidden damage. Okay.
That's it. Just really quick to give you a general overview of what we do. We do the home, termite, roof, sewer lateral, and pool inspections all the same time, same day, so you don't have to keep going back to the house to do your inspections. You can feel free to reach out to me directly if you are in a bind and need to get an inspection done quick. I always try to help you out as best I can.
She's the best at that, guys.
I work some magic. I push these guys.
Yes, she does.
They hate me, but
Jen, what's your contact information?
916-833-3531.
I'm horrible. 916-833?
Yep, 3531.
You're not Jen Finley.
Jen.
Zero got it.
That's it. Any questions for us? No? Okay, cool.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
we need to come back and do a contact one.
Yeah, we'll bring James.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
We've got photos of it and everything too as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, next up is no stranger. This is his team meeting after all. The man, the myth, the legend. Everybody give a big round of applause for Brent Go.
Thank you. You guys did a great job. That was
Thank you very much,
outstanding
sir.
information.
Yes, it was awesome.
And everybody wants to make $400,000 a year, $700,000 a year. You must become an absolute professional at this. That means you know loans backwards and forwards. You understand Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. You're not fuzzy about disclosures. You've met with the title reps. You know what a prelim, a CC&R, and an HOA is. You are a professional. And if you wonder why you struggle, have you applied yourself in those areas? Right? And so, man, I'm so excited about how your life can be radically different in the next 10 days. Because there's somebody in this room I met a month ago. And I met him in a parking lot. He had tears in his eyes, and he was ripped up hard. He has a wife and a baby. And he was not excited about what was going on in real estate at all. Hadn't had a sale in quite a while. And was challenged by his own family to blow the hell out of real estate and get a real job. And he was not miserable. He was frustrated. He's a nose guard in college football. And I challenged him. I said, I'll work with you, but you got to do it. You got to do the work. This is not magic. It's not hocus pocus. It is motion. It is you start moving and dopamine hits
and you start feeling good about your life the second you take a step in the right direction. Whether it's losing weight, whether it's fixing your marriage, whether it's real estate, whether it's agent attraction. And he accepted that challenge. In the last 10 days, he's talked to 100 people. I said, talk to 10 people a day. I don't care who they are. I don't care where they are. You talk to them and you ask them if they know anyone thinking about buying or selling real estate. And we did not plan this. He had no idea I was going to spill the beans on him and share some personal private information. But I'm proud of him, and he's a man. You know, real men get moved emotionally, and they do great things with their lives. And he stepped up. I could not be more proud of him today. I want him to come up and tell you what it feels like to be on the other side of that kind of pain when we did not know each other. And he darn near tackled me in the parking lot. It was just me and him, and he's bigger than me. And he shared with me his pain, and I shared with him a solution, and he did it. And I don't know what he's going to say. He didn't know I was going to do this, but you're going to get up here right now. Juan, get up here. So share with them what it was like to get out of your head and to start opening your mouth 10 times a day, and it wasn't easy. But talk to them about what has come of talking to 100 people.
Oh man, so it wasn't easy, and to everybody, yes, I was as big as I am. I was in tears talking to this guy, and he was up speaking that day, and it was just hitting everything he was saying was just talking directly to me, and I just opened up, and I accepted his challenge, and I've been reaching out to at least 10 people in my spirit every day. Got a couple people talking to lenders right now. Also got a couple referrals out of it, and got one in escrow. So we're in we're set to close on the 21st. Then I'm out. We're writing offers on another buyer, trying to get those guys into escrow as well.
Nice.
So we're moving. But kind of like Brent said, I mean, it's not magic, it's motion.
Come on.
And another thing, and I'm telling you, like when I talk to people now, I'm just like, man, I'm just like full of quotes now. But the enemy is the inner me, and that one really hit home, yeah, because quick story. So my dad was telling me, he was telling me a quick story, and he was just like, yeah, he was like, I was driving over here, and your Tia Gabi called me, and I saw it come up on my phone. I'm like, what does Gabi want? And so, you know, why is she calling me? And that really struck me because that made me think. Like, I am the one in my head thinking they're going to look at their phone and be like, oh, what does JR want? They call me JR, not Juan. What does JR want? What's he trying to sell me? I know he's in real estate. What's he trying to do? And so Brett and I got together and kind of came up with a plan on how to talk to people about just everything, right? Just, hey, what's going on? How have you been? And they should ask if they do care about you, which I found some don't. But it's like, hey, how have you been? What are you up to? You're in real estate, right? It's like, yeah, you know, I'm doing this thing and I love it. And I tell people, like, I don't say I'm new. I say, like, I've been practicing for about a year now. And I think that sounds a little more like legit. You don't ask a doctor, hey, how long have you been doing a doctor? It's like, no, how long have you been practicing? And so I've been saying that, and I just feel way more confident. And like I said, we're getting some things in motion, and I'm excited about it. So
come on,
thank you.
Have you had a chance to read this book yet?
I did, yes.
What did you think of this book? You got 30 seconds.
Amazing ending. The scrolls, if you've never read it, there's some scrolls in there. I'm not going to give it all away, but it's a quick and easy read, and it is life-changing. So take a look at it.
It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. And I have given away hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these books. I love them. It's my favorite book on business. Besides the Bible, this is the book. If you're struggling, this book talks about how to overcome discouragement, how to overcome when all your plans go south, how to look at adversity in the face and step up and move through it and past it and get creative and use resources. So, who had a birthday in the last 5 months? Who had a birthday? One for you back there. Give her that man. I got Momentum book. That's by me. The way back. Whoa, that's it. Anybody else? Who did I miss? I got two left. Any birthdays? Here, I saw a book there. Look out, Lexi. All right. So here they do. Readers are leaders. Leaders are readers. Juan, you're a leader. Congratulations. Give Juan a hand. The next thing, listen to me close. All it takes for evil to prevail in this world is for good men and good women to do nothing. That means when you're in downtown Sacramento and you're stepping over a bum, it's not a bum. It's somebody who's made some bad choices. And we need to do something. Otherwise, you're no different than in the Bible where the Pharisees and the Sadducees went by and the one dude picks that person up, puts them on a donkey, sends them to it and spends their own money. We need to step up. In the Ukraine, people are starving. Today, I'm going to form a team, and we're meeting from 5 to 7. We're going to make 16,000 meals in 2 hours. And so Tom Costello, get up here. He's going to host this. We have 50 people come together. We will make 16,000 meals in 2 hours. They're freeze-dried. When you have no food, who'd like some freeze-dried food? You know what I mean? Stuff that turns into food. And so Andrea is also come. You're Andrea. You're the magical Andrea. I knew you were in the room somewhere. So Andrea's here to talk to you about it. I'm going to be there. It's going to be amazing. It's from 5 to 7. We are serving. We're going to be serving for food. So you
We've
can,
got an amazing barbecue. Craig Sardella, he was a master at all things barbecue. He's got his Traeger out. He's going to be doing 30 pounds, I think about 80 pounds of tri-tip and 30 pounds of chicken. So you guys need to come.
But he calls it something. He calls the tri-tip something different than tri-tips. What's he call it?
Magic tri-tip.
No, that's not it. What's the name of it? Do you remember the name? Brisket. Brisket. For those of you barbecue people. He's not just brisket. It's like what it's.
Tri-tip and brisket are two totally different.
I know. That's why.
I will travel across the city
for
to get
brisket. Yes. So that's why I stopped him. So here's the deal. It is
details.
It is 30 pounds of brisket, and he's world famous. Like this is his superpower, doing brisket. So I am bribing you a little with food, but we're going to hand out some flyers right now from Andrea. She's going to give you about 1 minute's worth on this. Tell them what's going on. So Andrea, tell me a little bit about
so we are packaging food. The thing that really struck me with this program though is that the food doesn't just go, it does go to very impoverished nations, not only Ukraine. And it's actually sent to the schools. And so in some of the nations that the Rise Against Hunger works with, it's areas that it's not a given that they're sending their kids to school every day. Especially if they have daughters, they're typically held back at home to help around the home. But if they know that their kids can go to school and get that free meal at school, they're much more likely to send them, breaking the cycle of not sending their kids to school. And a mom with kids, that just like breaks my heart to think about, number one, not having enough food, and number two, not having the opportunity to go to school. So just come out, and we're gonna make it fun. It is for a really great cause, and we hope to see you all there.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Just a quick note on that. I don't know if you guys caught the impact of what Andrea said. There's 116 of these meals in a box, and one of these boxes will feed a child for an entire year. Wow. If you're a parent, that's huge. If you're a parent in one of these countries, that means you don't have to worry about providing lunch for your child. They just go to school, they get educated, and they get fed. That is huge when you're starving, when you're just struggling for your next meal. So that's the impact that we're going to have. As far as the fun for you guys, Brent's bribing you with food. It's going to be absolutely crazy fun. You're going to be put on teams, and you're going to be timed to be able to put a scoop of soy, a scoop of rice, and a scoop of meat in the package and weigh it. It's going to be crazy fun. There's going to be 4 teams. I'll explain it later, but I'm the host. I promise you it's going to be mayhem and a lot of fun. So please come out, join the fun, help support these kids, and have a great barbecue with brisket.
That's great.
From 5 to 7:30 tonight.
We have 50 people committed already. We have food for 80. So what I'm asking you to do again is to step up. If you can, some of your own property you can't, listening programs you can't, pick it up your kids. But if you can adjust your schedule or bring your kids, come. It's a great cause, and we're going to do something, right? I know sometimes it feels like, what's it really? It's all of us. Many hands make the load light. I'm looking for 10 volunteers to join me today between, yes, I want to see hands high, between 5 and 8. So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Any you guys need 2 more? 9. You got my daughter bailed. Okay, I'll take 9.
I'm bringing my wife.
10. We got 10. There we go. And if you want to bring,
She doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
You gotta raise your hand high.
What? I missed one?
Yeah.
11. Okay, 12. Good. So I told him I'd try to bring 10 to 15 from the team because we care about people. That's who we are. We're human beings who love and serve human beings. A chance to serve, and you're going to get some great brisket out of the deal. So give these guys a hand. Thank you.
you actually scan the QR code on the flyer, it does take you to a page where you can donate as well.
Yeah.
If you do want to give to it, it goes directly to Rise Against Hunger. It doesn't come through any of us, so.
Yep.
It's gonna be hot today, right? So is this indoors, outdoors, what do we bring?
Great question. The barbecue's going to be outdoors, but we're going to have tents set up so you'll be in the shade, and then the competition is actually going to be indoors where it's
Air conditioned.
So you'll have,
So you'll be okay.
so you'll be
Good
in and out.
question.
So keep
Keep
hydrated.
it nice and cool in the office.
Yeah, and bring a hat because it'll be hot, but it'll be totally fun. So
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you. Give them a hand, you guys. Good job. Good job. By the way, you can take a picture of this. It's in Granite Bay off of Douglas and Sierra Coolidge Boulevard. They have a beautiful office. It's going to be very nice. And it's just going to be packaging food, music, fun, just a good time and a great cost. So thank you for what you guys are doing. Okay. So moving on. I want to say this. There's a huge opportunity if you want your life to change. And this is your moment. And so you've got to make some decisions, and it's time to quit playing around. I'll show you. Does anybody know what it costs for the average college student in America to attend college this year? Say the average 18-year-old who just graduates. I have one graduating tomorrow. That's why I flew back yesterday. Ty, my youngest baby, little Ty, who's the only child who outgrew me, makes me so mad. I'm like, don't even think about it. Like, and now he looks down at me. I'm like, it's really cool to have one of your kids look down at you. I like it. Right, Dad? Right, Dad? Yes.
At least 40,000, giving room and board.
40,000 years. So let me kind of explain this to you. Just keep in mind, 18-year-old punk kids. Were you a punk at 18? I was. Punk kids are dropping 40 grand on their future. So what are you going to spend on real estate on yours? Have you even spent $40,000 on education and materials? And you think you went to town because you bought a Dell computer for $1,600. That's what they bought after spending $40,000 on the dorm and this college. They also bought the $1,600 computer. Your little 18-year-old with acne whip your ass, bottom. So I need to challenge you. So here's the deal. You want to do open houses? Get serious. Purchase 50 signs. I said 50. I used to say 30 because then people buy 10 or 15. Buy 50. How much are they a sign? Who knows, John? I know you know.
I don't know for a sign, but for that it'd be a few $100, a couple $100.
They're $10 a sign, I believe.
Yeah, it's around 10 or 11 for
10 or 11. So let's it's
$500
$500 altogether. It's gonna run you like $500. Let's say you went crazy and you got the thick wire frames. $750 for some
I do
signs.
a full set of 36.
Don't tell me I can't afford it. I can't afford 30 signs. You're letting an 18-year-old child. They go apply for. They fund their education. Have you capitalized your business? There's not a reason for anyone to be like, well, I don't want to do it. Well, I only did it myself for a year or two. That I've been teaching people how to do them for 20 years. And so they work. And if you will get out there this weekend in the right neighborhood, so I have an open house for you in North Highlands. Don't do it. Have an open house for you in Fair Oaks. My parents live in Fair Oaks. Don't do it. Just kidding. But so here's the deal. People aren't moving into Carmichael and Fair Oaks. They're moving into the suburbs. They like Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Elk Grove, Natomas, the new big development out in Folsom, the new big developments out in West Road. That's where they're going. If you want to have a dead open house, go to Carmichael, go to Fair Oaks. You'll get some people. But if you want to succeed, get out of Arden area. Get out to the suburbs where you can get mass numbers and have mass success. You with me? Mm-hmm. So I want to challenge you a couple things. Pick the right location. If you live here, don't be running down to Elk Grove. You know, because if someone wants to see a house tonight, you've got to drive 30, 45 minutes through traffic, show one house, and back. It is not a good use of your time. If you live here, you should be doing open houses in Roseville, Rockland, Whitney Ranch, 12 Bridges, Cota Madera, Granite Bay, Loomis, Penryn, Newcastle. If you live down in Elk Grove, you should do them in Wilton. Is that right? Grant Line. There's some amazing Calvine. There's half acre, 1 acre, all through the aquatic area, the marina down in Elk Grove, the water homes. I mean, and then when they want to go see a home, you get up
from your family room, run 10 minutes across town, show the home, be back in 10 minutes, and it's not a big hit to your family. You with me? So be smart about where you're working. If you live in Folsom and Eldorado Hills, you live in a gold mine. Work that market, and you call other brokers from other offices and you ask to hold their listing open. I like the vacant ones. It's easy to let you do it, and I love the independents. And then you could call the ones that are pending. I've held pending homes open. Hey, I'll hold it open for backup offers. If anyone asks, isn't this sold? Yeah, we're holding it open for backup offers. You can hold a home open for backup offers? Yeah. You can hold a Coldwell Banker open house if you're an EXP agent? Yes. You could do a RE/MAX one? Yes. Now you'll meet people from Alliance and Coldwell Banker says we don't allow other agents from other companies to hold up. But the next Coldwell Banker agent, he says, thank God, yes, hold my listing open. So that may be Coldwell Banker's model because they want to protect market share. But when you list a home, do you have a fiduciary to your sellers? And if someone could go work like a big boy and a big girl and caveman it and cavewoman it and get out there at 10 a.m. and work till 6 at night and do a real open house for 8 hours, not this 2-3 hour open house, 4 hour open house where you put out 5, 10, 15 signs in your board. I mean, you get out there at 8 in the morning, you spend 90 minutes putting your signs out. You wear tennis shoes because you're going to be busy. Or you bring an 18-year-old with you in tennis shoes and you sip on your coffee and point to them. You have children? Do you like sleeping in my house? Do you like eating my food? Get out here. I don't feel like it. I really don't care. You know? And so you have, if they're under your roof, you have a labor force. Okay? So get out there and then you start by 10. I would bring deodorant, mints. I bring fresh clothes because you're sweating. I put out on my signs all the time. I would have to literally, in the winter, I'd be soaking wet because it'd be windy and rainy. And I'm like the postman. I show up through wind and rain, storm, no sleet. I was there for my future. And guess what? I built an amazing future because I freaking did it. And Juan is doing it, man. And the difference between Juan and you, listen to me close, is 10 days. It's 10 days. It's a decision. Stop being inside going, this sucks. No, it doesn't suck. You suck. Stop sucking. Yeah. The enemy's the enemy. You're like, well, I'm a victim. I'm this. You don't know how hard I've had it. It's the old saying, you know, you're full of quotes. I felt sorry for myself because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Man, somebody's had it worse than you. Stop. Jay Cucci in the back there taught me this quote 35 years ago. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Neither will Steve Hillier, right over there to the left. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Yeah, that's good. Like, well, I don't have money to buy 50 signs. I'm too shy. My car breaks down. This and that. I used to show property in a used Mercedes, and finally it would rattle so bad. The diesel ones. The whole car was shaking because the engine mount was broke, and we're up there. This guy was an attorney for us. He looked at me. He goes, "Dude, get a new car." Like we're in Granite Bay looking at homes like this at the intersection, and then the smoke. It was smoke was cemented. The wind shift changing, and it came back over the car. And we're being asphyxiated. We're dying, and I'm like, oh my God, turn the car off. Just stop it. And then it would heat up. So it was 108. You know, it heat up. I remember those days. I remember that finally the whole exhaust system fell out of my car and it was dragging behind us. Sparks going. That happened? Yes! I remember going to Craig and I remember buying the bungee cords. I remember getting out because the rubber grommets are supposed to hold the muffler in place. It's 8 feet long from the engine back to the back. All the grommets broke, so I took bungee cords and wrapped them up. And I sold it that way. I sold it with bungee cords, man. You do what it takes. Once, I have so much respect for you, Juan, and you are 10 days away. How do you, when you saw me in that parking lot, and you were feeling pretty hopeless, can we be honest? Yes. And it didn't hurt.
Big time.
Freaking hurt. I mean, I watched the tears, right? And how does it feel today? 100 people later, 10 days. How much more hope do you have today?
Oh, so much more. It feels great.
Look at that smile.
Seriously.
Big teddy bear. But listen to me. Get out of your head. It's motion. Take the first step, man. You'll feel good. Like, ooh, that feels good. I did something. I put the hamburger down. You know? I did 2 push-ups. You know, do something, okay? So I want to say this as we wrap up today about open houses. I want you to start at 10. I want you to go till 6. If they're pouring through the door at 6, go 7 or 8. Pick up the pace. Lean into it. It's not the time to do less. It's the time to do more. Everybody else is scared, backing up. Push forward, go forward. And I'm going to say this. When you talk to people, you don't say, oh, are you working with an agent? That should never come out of your mouth. Everybody's working with an agent. Even if they're not, they go, yeah, I'm working with an agent. So if you're the kind of person who asks, are you working with an agent? Oh, you are? Okay, well, good luck with you and your agent. I never ask. I hope if Eric say he loves his agent. He's bought 3 homes through his agent. It's a Lions agent. So I didn't ask him, but he's gonna volunteer. I'm gonna say, hey. So I'd say something like this. I go, hey, you don't know me, but I'm the absolute expert in this area of Loomis, in this area of El Dorado Hills, in this area of Folsom. I know every top agent. We meet, we have coffee, we share off-market listings. Because a lot of people, well, I don't need you. I have Redfin, I have Zillow, I don't need you. Oh, you need me. Because have you noticed there's not much to choose from? So it's not how you say, it's what you say. I can find you a listing that you will never find on Redfin or Zillow. You need me. I am the most network, and I will turn over every leak. I will move every rock. I will find you your dream home, and give me a shot to find you the home you're looking for. You talk to people like that way? Yeah, I'm not like your typical sign in here, name and number. Would you like a list of homes? And then now tell me, hey, I already have an agent I've been working with for a year now from Lions. Say that, and you love them. Watch how I behave. You guys got to learn this. Go ahead.
Brent, I love what you're saying. I have an agent that I've been working with. I love an agent.
Really? Have you bought? I won't say this, but tell me, I bought in 3 homes through them.
My last 3 homes I bought from the same.
And your whole family's bought from them.
I've referred my entire family. We've done 37 deals with this agent.
I believe that. Okay, so you've been looking for a year. Have prices gone up over the past year?
Yes.
Okay, your agents cost you probably $30,000 or $40,000 already. And listen to me. Do you disagree with that thought?
No.
Okay, so bottom line, there's no law in the world of real estate that says you can't have 2. So here's what I'm asking for. Let me look for you. What if I call you in the next week or 2 or 3, and I will call you the next week or 2 or 3. I'm going to go, here's the home of your dreams. And it's not in Redfin or Zillow. It's not in the MLS because it's off market. Because I'm going to turn over every rock, move every leaf. And I'm going to find you this house. And then do it. Call Gail DeMarco up in El Dorado Hills. Call Sotheby's, Nick Sadek. Call Tom Daves. Do it. Come on, man. You going to let this market bury you, or are you going to overcome? You got this. You can be like one. Yeah, look at that, man. You're a freaking hero to this room. Do you realize that?
You are, truly.
I respect you. And I respect every one of you. And it's a personal decision. And you got to step up and you'll be amazing. So here's the deal. I said, can I give you the best service you've ever had in your life? Red carpet service. I'm going to blow your mind. You owe me nothing. I don't need you to sign anything. Just give me a chance to look for you. May I look for you? And here's the deal. If your agent from Lions finds you your dream home, do not call me. Call them. They've done their job. But after a year, he hasn't done his job. And I will do my job. I will. Will you give me a chance, Eric?
Sure.
Right on, man. That is how you convert people. Is that how you do your house? Well, not exactly. We'll start doing how you do it so good. Because I did so many horrible ones. And the more you do it, the better you get. And guess what? Everybody, I could get 20, 30, 40 names in an open house. And then I go home and I follow up immediately. And the other thing I do is on the counter, there'll be this home in Folsom, this other home in Folsom, this one in El Dorado Hills, this one in El Dorado Hills, this one in Rescue. And this one might be, $450 for the people on a budget. This one might be $550. This one might be $600. This one might be $650 and $700. I might have one at $900,000. I not only hold my home open, I hold 5 or 6 other homes open. You buy little displays. You show them how big. Oh, I got this one up here. Look how connected I am. I have this one. They're not even your listings. It's Coldwell Baker, Remax, Keller Williams, EXP, or whatever. They don't know that. They don't look at it. Go, I have all these homes. Oh yeah, we came into the open house. And we're not this high. We're not up at the 850. We're more like 600. I go, oh, have you seen this one? No, we haven't. Here you go. It's another home I'm featuring today. Oh my gosh, we want to see that. Good, I'll be done at 6 o'clock. I will meet you at that house at 6:15. I show property the second I'm done with my open house. Because I'm working it. I'm intense. Come on, you guys, you feel me? Yep. People respond to energy. They respond to authenticity. Stop talking from here and start talking from here. Start talking from here. You want to be a life that you struggle and that is unacceptable? Talk from here. Talk from here. Start talking from here. People respond to this. You know it. Can you feel me? You guys feel me right now?
Yeah.
I'm not playing. So I don't want you to suffer. But you have to be a courageous human being like Juan. A guy who 10 days ago was going, I mean, the pain. When his own family challenged him about getting out of real estate. And now he's on top of the world. He's got an escrow. He's working on writing more offers. He'll have more escrows. Just like that. It changes in an instant. You need to look at somebody today before you leave this room and say, I'm in. I'm done. I've heard enough. I'm going to work. It's not magic. It's motion. It's work. Tony Robbins, the premier guy in the world, goes, if you're in your head, you're dead. I want to get married. Then start asking people out. Right? It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Well, she said no, 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 she said yes. Her gate was open. He said no, he said no, he said no. His gate was open. Well, he has to ask me. Who said? Why don't you ask him? Well, it's just the way it's always been done. Will the world go the way things have always been done? Come on, man. Whether it's agent attraction, you can do the same thing with agent attraction. You with me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Was this good?
Yes,
Eric.
I just want to say one thing on what Brent's saying. Is with Juan, the difference between when he was connecting with Brent and now is it's just a focus. And what I've shared with you guys before, I can focus in my marriage on all the things about my wife that I don't like, or I can focus on all the things about my wife that I love, and it's the same woman, and I'm right either way. So if you're not getting the results that you want, where's your focus? All Juan did was change his focus. The market didn't change. He's not more skilled. He put his brain on something different. That's what Brent's teaching you right now. So just check in with yourself. What are you focused on? And go out today for the rest of the day and focus on revenue producing activities, things that are going to grow your business. And you can shift just like Juan did.
Thank you, Eric. So I just want to recognize, if you don't know, my mom, Carol Gove, is right there for all the guests here today. And my dad, Jim Gove, right there. So, Mom, how long have you guys been married now?
62 years.
And so the key to making it 62 years is you'll notice there's... I know. You notice how far my dad is sitting from my mom. This is the key to a good marriage. Sometimes you need a little space. I'm just kidding. And that's their dog, Bella. It's the only dog allowed in here, little Bella. And if you have a big dog, we'll feed it to your dog like a biscuit. No, I'm just kidding. All right, everyone have a great day. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming. See you next Thursday.